DNA. I'm your host, Darcy Walsh, and we have another returning guest. 2025 has been pretty good for that. We've had a lot of new people, but I guess the volume of episodes has been up. That must be what it is. But
Yeah.
welcome, Declan. We are here on behalf of your band, Norter, to talk
Hmm.
about some updates from the camp. But we had you on when we were doing our Somo coverage because you were
Yeah.
one of the opening acts for one of the dates over there, one of
Oh yeah.
the local flavors for the Somo Festival. So
Yes, sir.
I was fortunate enough to run into you. I was over for Music PEI for the full week, and
Yeah,
while I
man.
was in town,
Sportsman.
yeah, the Sportsman's Detour was not planned, but
No.
it was definitely a worthwhile trip for me. I got to run into quite a few old and new faces in the
Man.
PEI music scene.
Sportsman's that's the spot. Like if it's like that's where I feel like all the musicians will go and hang out. If there's a show, that's where it's gonna be. That was a stacked bill, man. Green Eyes Witch Hands. I'll put that on the air, man. They are probably my favorite band on the East Coast. They're
Oh,
they're
they're amazing.
incredible. They're incredible. Their production is so good, and the way that they like switch over to live, it's like it's so cool. It's so
Oh
cool.
yeah, yeah. We had them on once when they weren't new, but
Yeah,
it was a while ago as far as their career has been going too. And I know
yeah,
they've been getting a lot of play around the East Coast, a lot of tour dates, and
absolutely.
actually they're playing again like very soon. I don't.
Yeah,
It might even be in between this recording and when this airs, or just
yeah.
shortly after.
Hey, man, they pound the pavement, and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what you got to do though. Like you got to play all the
Yes.
time.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. And it
100.
does seem like I've interviewed a few people from different regions and I try to dig in a little bit into their music scene.
Mhm.
And I always have to, just out of context, compare it to what I know from Pictou County in Nova Scotia, or the bigger scene would be Halifax for Nova
Yeah.
Scotia. But now that I've traveled around a little bit, I do have a good feel for like the Moncton area, a little
Hmm.
bit of what's going on over in Fredericton.
Yeah.
And PEI, I hear a lot of rumblings of what's happening over there. Now that I've gotten to know quite a few artists like yourself,
Yeah.
I've had some firsthand experience being out there, both up at the stage, taking photographs, behind the camera, doing some interviews, and now being actually part of the audience and being out there as a spectator as well. So
Pretty
I'm
interesting.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
diverse. You have
Yeah.
a good, healthy, like the type of music that you'd be playing. Like you're more of your indie rock, maybe with a little bit of experimentation in there, some post
Yeah.
punk kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
you have a healthy rap scene over there,
Yeah, we
and
do, man. It's pretty crazy
yeah,
the amount of like, and it's just like within the contemporary side, like aside from the hip hop scene,
hmm,
it's just the fellas. Like it's just like it's like a big pot of guys. It's like the Absolute Losers. We'll take them for example.
hmm.
Like a few of those boys play in this cover country band called the Good Old Boys, and it's like the funnest thing in the world. Like every January 1st, it's like we do Levy Day,
Okay.
and they'll perform at Sportsman's from like 1 p.m. till like whenever. They call it
Oh
one
yeah.
one till we're done. And it's incredible. But yeah, and I feel like that's why the scene here is so strong. It's like it's just really welcoming. It's like on the ground, like
Hmm.
in the scene itself, it's very welcoming, and everyone has the same opportunities. And I feel like that's like I'm super appreciative of that because like I'm not from here. I'm not from Charlottetown. I'm not from PEI. I grew up in Summerside, but
Hmm.
like like I'm not from PEI originally, so it's really cool to come as a newcomer, even in the Charlottetown scene, and to watch it grow and to be a part of it. It's super cool.
Thankfully, where I do have the opportunity to talk to artists from different regions, that's been something that's been kind of a common thread for
Yeah.
people that have moved either to Canada or maybe not to Canada, but into one of our smaller communities, and then
Mhm.
when during the course of these conversations, that seems to be the one thing that we have in common with the Canadian music scene, is that if you are an artist and you're looking to get out there, I know there's a lot of bad blood if you stick around long enough. You start learning about burnt bridges and
Yeah,
different little problems people have. But on
yeah.
the surface value, like if you're trying to find your people,
Mhm.
I talk a lot about safe spaces because I talk
Yeah,
about like people wanting to go to shows and like needing to feel comfortable going out.
100%.
But the artist side, I know that like even myself as just media going into that environment the other day, I knew a few bands and a few of the people that were there
Mhm.
watching, but even just above and beyond people being able to stop and say hi, like you and I had a good conversation. I was out in the green room talking to Will for a little bit, giving him crap over Green Eyes Witch Hands not having any physical media. Like
Right?
the customer service boys had
Yeah. Oh, man.
two two vinyls
Yeah,
available, so I'm
yeah.
like they're
Well,
up in the game.
yeah, it's, customer service kinda did it right. They just hit the road, and they just kinda got on social media, and they just kinda built it, and they carved out a niche, and it worked, man, and I feel like that's what's important.
It's definitely that's as far as the indie rock scene, it is definitely the way to go if you want to quickly make a name for yourself. Not a lot of people can actually go full tilt into the no F's given type mentality of I'm just going to
Yeah,
go
man.
do her.
Yeah, well, you have to though. Like you
Yeah.
can't it's hard to. But even with me, it's like I don't want to I always overthink. But it's like if you don't give it 100%, then like you're just not gonna make it. It's just that
Yeah.
simple. And like people will like people like really 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 sit there and think about what other people are gonna think. And I'm not one of those guys.
Yeah, no, yeah, I can tell.
I can't be, man. Like I can't be. Like I got to do this the right way. And
Hmm.
but I'm so thankful, like I said, to have the community around that like is able to provide that for me. And
Hmm.
like, I mean, like you were there for Music PEI week. You see how much they care about their artists.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a good scene. And like I'm trying to move, but like without the start here, like I mean none not we wouldn't be talking, like none
Yeah,
would
exactly.
be happening, you know what I mean? So PEI is definitely the spot to be for like an emerging artist right now, and that's really weird to
Absolutely.
say.
You know what? I mean, I got to be careful in some things that I repeat because I have a little privy to a few extra things here and there. But overall, like in our region, I know that PEI doesn't have the largest population,
Mhm.
but as far as like percentage wise of heavy hitters, like
Yeah,
it's the ratio is unbalanced. If you start
well,
to look at percentage within the populations,
yeah.
PEI's got a, like brimming with talent at the moment.
Well, I'm really good friends with Julian Kitson, like the lead
Mhm.
of Gizmo, and like Patrick used to play in Norter and stuff like that, and like Spencer's in another project, and
Yes.
Daniel's and the Losers and stuff like that, and it's just like Gizmo is like they're incredible as well. Like they got what it takes, the Losers got what it takes, and it's like and people tell me like I'm in the same conversation, and I feel like the similarities that we share between the three of us is that we're just making music that we want to make. And I don't want to speak for them, but I just
Hmm.
feel like it's like we're here to have a good time, and we take ourselves seriously. And yeah, I think that's what's important. We're
You're
goofy, we're,
definitely you're
we're goofy, but
yeah,
we take
and
ourselves seriously.
I like that. It gives me something. It's entertainment in the end. Like I mean, it's art, but from the spectator point of view, it's entertainment, right? So I can see that, and you guys do have a little bit of a different. I hate to use the word shtick in this case because it's not so much of a marketing gimmick as such as it's
Amen.
the way that you perform and the theatrics that you would have on stage.
Yeah.
I know, like the other bands that you mentioned do have a lot of marketability and they have real clean sounds that the people that they're working with. So like they have an extra kind of stepping stone to get out there. They're easy for new listeners to digest.
Exactly.
But even though I would say Norder's a little different as far as the sound that you give off,
Hmm.
because there is a little bit extra, let's say, quirkiness to it that maybe
Yeah.
not everybody would immediately get. I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan myself,
Thank
but
you.
I'm aware of you because you are in that same conversation.
Yeah, and like I listen to so much music too, so it's like creating Norder was like I don't know, it was just like a big pot of music and I just like decided, like with the first album, like it was big influenced by this indie band from like I think they're from Utah, I think. They're the
Hmm.
Backseat Lovers. I don't know if you've heard of
Okay.
them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're like classic indie rock, like major seven chords all the way, and like just like super clean, simple indie rock music. And that's kind of what like the first album was, with a little bit of like Foo Fighters and like the Arctic Monkeys and stuff like that. And then like it's been a year and a half since
Hmm.
I released, and I've listened to like so much different artists now, and like I'm a big fan right now of the past year and a half. I've been on Hotline TNT, which is like this really really cool noise rock band from New York, and it's really funny. They're signed to Third Man Records in
Cool.
Nashville, Tennessee, which is where I'm trying to move within the next like year or two. Uh,
Hmm.
because it's just like I've been visiting down there, and the indie scene there is fucking insane. Like
Yeah.
it's like people will just associate Nashville with country music, and like of course, like it's a giant country hub, but it's a music hub first and foremost.
Hmm.
And to see the like, I went down there and I was like, it's like this is where I feel like I need to be, and but like I said, like without being here, I couldn't have found that, and it's like it's just
Yeah.
incredible. But anyway, going back to like the sound and stuff, it's just been so much of a change, but keeping the similar vibe is kind of important in like release and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So, like mixing more grunge shoegaze influence, like high octane stuff, with that like the Backseat Lovers and the Arctic
Hmm.
Monkeys and those like staples, Mac DeMarco and all that stuff. I try to incorporate my own sound with that, and I kind of got this EP. My roommates seem to be cooking some food right now.
Yeah, I can hear that.
I'm sorry about that.
So
Yeah.
I am wondering, and like we're talking about sound and like the organic differences that come from yourself evolving as a music fan too.
Yeah.
But I do also note, since we were just talking about a couple of the other bands in the scene,
Mhm.
that another common thread that I probably should feel a little guiltier that I didn't uncover this on my own earlier. But there seems to be that within a lot of the bands that would fall into that same kind of category that you're talking about with like Gizmo and Absolute Losers, there's a little bit of a sound there that's kind of unique. And I was trying to figure out what it is. And it was definitely on production end. And then it turns out that like time and time again, when I look, it's either Adam or Colin that's working on the mixes and
Yeah, man.
recording.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we had Adam on an episode, and Colin actually won recording sector. I know that they collaborate, so I'm sure Adam's just as happy for Colin
Mhm.
as Colin would have been for
Absolutely.
Adam. But you worked with Colin yourself on
Yep.
new material.
Yeah. So on the first and the new record,
Okay.
all of my works have been with Colin.
All right.
When we like with this last record, I recorded a few. I like I was in there with the band for two tracks, Rico's Pizzeria and June, and we recorded with a good friend of Colin's named Sergey. And
Okay.
I've known Sergey as he's a really good sound technician. When I was in the School of Performing Arts, he'd do sound for our showcases. Um, he has a wonderful studio in there, and we just recorded off the floor, and it was a great time. But other than that, this record was made in Colin's house, and there was one session at Adam's studio, and yeah, but Colin, I don't know. Colin for me is more than just a producer. He's like a mentor and like a personal, like a friend. And like, I feel like that's really important. If like for me, if I have someone producing my work, I can't, like, I have to be able to trust them, and they got to be in it. And, um, it's just been so great that like Colin has expressed time and time again that like he really liked this new record. He loved the songs on it. He loved the way it turned out, and like he plays on the record as well. And
Cool.
he plays a big part in like Norter, honestly. But yeah, like you look at like I think the Gizmo EP, Adam touched that. He was mixing that one, and I think he did a master. And the Losers have done work with Adam and Colin as well. And I feel like it's because Adam and Colin are they're just the guys, man. Like
Yeah.
they're on the scene on the ground level. Like Colin plays in bands around town.
Yeah, I caught Pearly Gates at
Yeah,
one of the showcases there too.
Pearly Gates is incredible.
Yeah.
Like Pearly Gates is so good, and like Adam has solidified himself as a producer for all the artists. Like Adam's a producer, and with Colin, it's like he's a producer, but he's also like, I mean, he was at like Paper Lines, for example,
Yeah.
and and then starting the production scene, and just like I knew him through a student
Okay.
when I was in School of Performing Arts. Uh, he was recommended to me by a student, and yeah, since 2022, like I've known Colin, and he's always been in my corner, starting Norter and just helping and just being a great guy, And I again, without him, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'd have records out. It's just
Yeah.
it takes a village. It really does, and it's like and him like pushing it as well, and like just being a good guy. But yeah, like I said, like being in Pearly Gates, and like he'll play in like he'll do gigs for other artists, and like I don't know if you know Wood Andrews, if you've ever heard of Wood Andrews.
No, I'll have to
Okay.
check into that one.
He's like a country artist
Okay.
that I've seen Colin play with sometimes, and he was in Boxer the Horse. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
band. Yeah, Andrew was in that, and I think so. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's just Colin's been a big help to not just me but the whole scene.
Yeah, yeah, it looks like it. And I'm
Yeah,
curious now, we will go back to the new recordings.
no worries.
But little sidetrack
Uh-huh.
from the current release,
Yeah.
forecast a little bit into the future because you already had referenced look, and we chatted about this the other day as well. That you're looking at an opportunity to maybe kind of spread your wings a little bit and check out the other scene down south. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering when you make that transition, like we're talking about Norter, but to me, I know that Norter's a band and that
Mhm.
there's a lot of people that are performing in the band,
Mhm.
but it seems like Norter's kind of a Declan project that you put together. So
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
Norter go with you, or does Norter stay here and Declan
Well,
goes?
Norter's my project.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like I started Norter well before I started playing live,
Yeah.
releasing music. I started Norter like back in high school. So it's my project, and like I had like a set lineup, and then I kind of want to like I want a rotating lineup, and I want to be able to like perform with artists, like just to go on a tour, to come off the tour, to
Mm-hmm.
see what worked with the tour and what didn't, and just to try and be the best artist I can be. But I write all the music. I do like on the recording side, it's a little bit shared, but like I play everything on Candy Red.
Okay.
The first two singles before the record came out, I played pretty much everything on those. Um, and throughout the new EP, like I played on every single song, but so did like the band and stuff like that. So it's like it's not that I don't want to be in a band and have
No,
like a
no.
shared collaboration thing,
Yeah.
but it's just like um the way that I work and the way that I do it is like I want to write the songs and I want to be able to do that. And I kind of want to do it like Mac DeMarco does, you know, have a live band, if people are cool with that. And like, but who knows? Like, I'd be down for a collaboration. There's no
Mhm.
question. But the plan for Nashville is Norter is
Yeah.
going to Nashville. And
Okay.
I already have guys down there that have expressed interest in playing in Norter,
Hmm.
and booking shows around the states. And I got a few contacts to record at Ocean Way, and
Cool.
some Sony contacts and stuff. And well, and it's just straight up from meeting people
Yeah.
and being friendly. And like I've been down there a few times with Julian. That's who I go with, like, of Gizmo. And
Hmm.
like we go down there and we're like, shit, man, like it's happening here, as if we didn't know. But like we went down there and it was like it's
It's even
apples and
more.
oranges. It's apples and oranges compared to here. It's like,
Yeah.
we can talk all day about like how great the scene is here, but like there's like not really many indie labels on the East Coast. I don't know if there is actually like any, and like booking agents and management and like all those things that make an artist be able to go on the road,
Hmm.
play the rooms that they want to play, and actually make a profit, because like this is a job.
Yeah.
That's the thing. This is a job, and I have to think about that from like a career standpoint. And uh, Nashville's where it's at for sure. I'm also dual citizen. I was born in America.
Yes.
Um, so I have the opportunity to just go. I don't need a
Hmm.
visa. I don't need any of that stuff, even though fucking Trump's trying to take away birthrights and stuff.
Oh,
But
I know politically it's
get
horrible,
out of here. But
but
yeah, politically, yeah.
yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? But I'm a big believer in separating the music from the politics. I,
Well,
I like
it's unfortunate, but at a time of political turmoil is usually when we get the most creative music delivered from artists as well.
I
Like,
know, I know. Well, it's like the thing is like I will stand up and like express the opinion that we all want to hear,
hmm.
but like I can't, as an artist, go in depth on
Hmm.
my standpoints
Yeah, yeah,
because I don't want to compromise myself. Because even if what I'm saying is right and true, someone's going to think otherwise. It's
yeah,
just
yeah, absolutely.
just the way things are.
That's why I
And
try to stay away from most of
yeah,
the real strict opinions and try to.
yeah,
I want to know what the people I'm talking to think more so than make sure that they know what I think in the format
exactly,
that I'm doing. So,
exactly. But yeah, no, Nashville, and that's another thing too. When I was down there, like everyone was really friendly and really nice. And like I was down there during, like, I
yeah.
was there in October when,
Hmm.
like, I think that's when the fucking election was
Yeah,
happening.
like there was shit going down, but you were in an arts community that wasn't focused on that.
No,
Like,
no, no, no,
yeah.
no. Like Tennessee as a state is like, like, but like Nashville, everybody there is a musician.
Yeah.
It's either you are a musician, you are label, whatever, you're in the music industry.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter. Somehow you are connected. And even if you're just a listener, the scene there is so strong, you're part of that now. And
Yeah.
it's and that's why it kind of has similarities to here. It's like everyone's pretty welcoming, and you see a good roster of bands and stuff like that. But like there's not too many. But like I went down there and I was like, you know what, like I could stand out here, I think. And it's like, maybe I'm naive saying that, but like hearing it from other people also was like, okay, like, and maybe I should be living here, even if not moving here, living here in the wintertime and coming back to Canada to go on tour and stuff like that. But I had a good conversation um, with an extended family member of mine, Scotty Hill. He's the guitar player for Skid Row, if you know that band.
Hmm.
They're like an 80s like hair metal band, like unreal project. Anyway,
Yeah.
like he was talking to me and he was like, we were talking on the phone last week. He was like, if you want this to work, you have to be able to like spread your fucking wings
Hmm.
because like as much as you want it to, it can't happen here. You can
Yeah.
start here. You can build your base and you can stay connected here and there's no reason why you have to like leave and never come back and stuff like that because like I'm a firm believer like it doesn't like on any moderate or big success level, this is my home.
Hmm.
I will always like I'll not like anytime I'm on tour, I'm playing in PEI. I can't
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Just I can't not. And but yeah. So to summarize, the future holds me, Norter, going down to Nashville and kind of starting the band, not over again, but just working with other musicians.
Yeah.
And when I come back to Canada and to tour and stuff like that, I would have like what you saw at Somo,
Hmm.
um, like a band like that, like with other members or the same guys. It's not really something I think about. Whereas I'm just kind of focused on getting the tour booked,
Sure. Yeah.
doing the shows, and having musicians that I can trust in the project because I like there's been a few situations where my trust has been compromised and stuff like that. And
Sure.
it's no problem. Like that's the business.
Hmm.
People are gonna like what they like and people aren't gonna like what they don't like.
Yeah.
And that's just the nature of the business. But I need to like I got a wall, recently. And that's just kind of the way that you gotta be. And I have a certain style and sound to what I want, and like I work with artists all the time. I work with
Yeah.
musicians all the time. It's not like I'm like no, no, not you, not you, not you. I'm down for whatever, but it's kind of like they got to be involved with my ideas. And
Sure.
like I say now, like I just want like live players and stuff like that. But going back to Hotline TNT, he kind of had like live musicians going like on and off. Like
Yeah.
he grew up in Vancouver and then he moved to New York. And but now when I saw them on tour in 2023, that band, that live band that he has is his current band, except one of the guitar players. He had three guitar players on tour. Now he just has two. To my knowledge, that's that's the lineup that he wants.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like you go into it thinking, I just want session players, and then you really form a connection and relationship with these players to form a band and to collaborate and stuff like that. But right now, I'm just kind of focused on getting back on the road with some players and guys that are okay with uh, not necessarily writing the
Hmm.
songs, but like live doesn't need to be the same as the studio. I'm a big
Yeah.
believer in that. Like, I don't like the guitar. Like the one constant member has been the guitar player James.
Hmm.
I met James through Patrick when he came to the School of Performing Arts. The year I dropped out, so like the year after I enrolled, I dropped, and then he came
Hmm.
um, with Garrett as well, the original drummer, and it was just like, but James has stuck around through it all because he's just comfortable being like he has his own style in the band of the songs that I've written, and
Yeah.
like he's able to take what I have and expand on it, and that's kind of what I'm looking for, and just guys that work well together and have a good
Hmm.
time, and like James moved back to New Brunswick in the summer, and James, I miss you, man. You got to come back, bro. You got to come back,
You
man.
do have some, I hesitate to call them session musicians because they're people like even like Colin himself.
Yeah,
Like there's people that if you're paying enough attention, which no knock at anyone that doesn't notice the individual members of every
oh,
band, but when you do start to notice the familiar faces, you do see how many people are out there that are well-seasoned players that are very talented that can do exactly what you're saying. Like
Yeah, like
they get
it's
the basic gist of the song and they can jump on stage and play the full thing. And it might not sound exactly like the studio version,
it sounds
but
better. It sounds
yeah,
better.
sometimes it is better. It's
Like
like the
that's
preferred version.
that's what you see a band do that. That's how you know they're good and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like it's like it's good to sound like the records. Like when someone's like, "Oh man, you sound just like the record." That's great. But I also love it like in songs there is a section of the song that's different live than it is
Yeah.
in the studio, so it gives people an incentive to go see the band live.
Yes,
That's the
absolutely.
whole idea. But like, yeah, man, James is one of the most talented guitar players I know, and he's so effortless on stage, and he gets in his zone, and it's just like it's great. And like all the guys I've played with have been incredible musicians.
Hmm.
Like the other guitar player, Keith, like man, Keith, like I met Keith years ago at this rock summer camp, basically, where he just writes some songs and stuff like that. And uh, Keith has been good since the dawn of time. Like he's
Yeah.
just a great player and a great guy. And I feel like that, like that's what you need. And I mean, like Patrick played bass in the band. And
Yeah.
like you look at him as a guitar player and it's like, holy shit, like so great. And then playing bass in the band, it was just like it was incredible. And like he played on the first album and those bass parts sound awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like, and like Garrett, incredible drummer. Like I haven't seen anyone with like so many tasty licks. Like it's just great. And then like on this recent cycle with Joey, being in the band playing bass, was really cool because he came in as like a really really good drummer, like a like
Hmm.
a like a Berklee College of Music drummer, touring with big bands all over North America and stuff like that. And to have him in the project for that time was great. He added a whole different element to the band, and it was really cool. But ultimately, like after Somo, I just was kind of like, I want to really focus on the record. I want to take a hiatus on the
Hmm.
shows. And then the plan was, when the record came out, we were going to go on tour, but I had to postpone the tour. Um, so like I'm shooting for like May. That's like
Okay.
the idea. But yeah, and you can't rush this stuff. And
Well, that little bit of a break and your lineup changes actually resulted in me being at Sportsman's the other day because I ended up being reached out to by Cherry Plaza, whose
yeah,
frontman was playing drums for you back at Somo. So
yeah, man,
yeah,
100%.
those things are awesome for me, and they're
Yeah,
very interesting for people that are out in the audience to just like to your point. Not everything needs to sound like the version that they go in the room knowing. So having different players adds a little bit of different flair.
exactly,
It keeps things
exactly.
interesting.
No, 100%.
Now, for anyone that is interested in hearing new material, is there something that you wanted to play off this episode with to kind of give them a taste before you announce those tour dates?
Yeah, 100%. We rounded now, probably rounded now.
Okay.
Like rounded now is my favorite song off the EP. It's about Nashville actually, and it's
Okay.
like the most like when you look at the EP, you look at the 5 songs, and you want to hear and see the direction of where Norter is going. That song, Rounded Now and Candy Red, that's the direction. High
Perfect.
octane, like that indie rock stuff with like some always in there and some like
Hmm.
shoegaze textures and just like yeah, that rounded now is definitely the track that I want to be like definitely
Perfect.
presented.
Well, we'll play off with that, but I'd also recommend that anyone that enjoys it goes
Yeah,
out to check you out on streaming platforms so that you get the spins, listen to a little bit more of that EP. And I know you're on Bandcamp. Is the new EP on Bandcamp as well?
It will be when this airs. I
Okay,
gotta do
perfect.
that. I gotta do that right now, pretty
Perfect.
well. But yeah, it's been an incredible process, and it's just been like over the last year and a half, like everyone, all the listeners, and I don't like to say fans, but like you can call it whatever. But
Get
like,
used to it. It's
yeah,
fans. I, I
yeah,
I was the same the first like
you
three
know,
years of doing this, but
you know
in
what I
year
mean?
four, I
Yeah,
you got to
yeah,
accept that that's
yeah.
what they're
Like
called.
to all the fans and the listeners, like it means so much when some random person DMs me on Instagram and they're like, "Hi, I just want to let you know that like I'm so excited for what's next. I love your album." And it's like those people, like everyone who's ever listened, that's the reason why I continue to do it, because it's like
Hmm.
it's not easy to do this, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like it's really hard, and sometimes you feel defeated, and sometimes you feel like, you know what, maybe this isn't the right idea, or is am I still relevant, or like this, that, and the other thing. But without the continuous support from like the fans and like the scene and everything, like this wouldn't be possible. It really does take a village, and like guys like you to have the ability to express our opinion and to publicize the bands and stuff like that, and that's why the scene here is so like, it's so good. It's like everyone's trying to uplift people,
yeah.
and but there's always going to be those few that
There's a dark side to everything.
yeah, they want to see. But you know what, man, music is an unstoppable force,
Yeah,
and no matter, it's like I like recently, it's like with me, I had to go through a similar situation. It's like you can't change the narrative, you know
right.
what I mean? It's like I'm doing this 100%, and people are going to talk and people are going to say whatever, but I let the work speak, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
It's the right way. It's you'll if you don't already have that in your head out there for anyone that's watching it, that maybe probably I'm speaking more so to people of your generation. If you don't have that in your head yet, like after you've been around a little longer, rather than being old, I call it wise because
yeah,
you do build up a little bit of wisdom over the years.
yeah,
But that is one of the things.
yep,
You're never gonna 100% please the entire population of Earth with what you're doing. So get comfortable with what you're doing because like
exactly.
you're the one that's in charge of you.
Mhm.
If you don't like what you're doing, stop doing it. And if
Yeah,
you like what you're doing, stop worrying about what other people think. You'll
that's
find your people.
yeah, like that's I had to learn that lesson the hard way, man. It was growing up in a small town and being different from everybody else. Everyone played like hockey and stuff like that, and it's like I'm a fan, but like
Yeah.
I wasn't that good. And it was a lot of like like country, and a lot of like and a lot of people didn't like me growing up and going to school and stuff like that, because I was just different. And I was But if I could give any piece of advice to anybody ever that is watching this, that wants to start something, you are capable of doing that. Like there is no
Absolutely.
one that can tell you no or anything like that. And it's like I've had everyone, not everyone, like I've had all types of people come up to me and be like, it's not going to work, or it's not good, or you aren't good, and stuff like that. And you know what, man? Like I just let the music speak.
Absolutely.
Let the music
That's
speak.
perfect
And
message.
I'm a big fan of Tyler the Creator. And in an interview I watched of his, it was probably last year, he was like big into saying like you don't know who's watching. And that's true, like when we got signed to the 1 year deal with RBCX Music, um that was a fluke thing.
Hmm.
Like that was just like I didn't know anything about it. I Colin actually posted on his story that there was 1 week left to apply, and I said whatever this is, and that was right there, proof in the pudding. You don't know who's watching, because like they still support, like they still put out our stuff.
Hmm.
They and what like they're a big part of the current success of Norter and stuff like that. And it's true though, like if I could say anything to anyone, it's like you need to understand like what we were talking about. Not everyone's going to like you, and
Hmm.
that's okay. What's important is that you put 110% into your art, and that's going to shine through.
Hmm.
Um, you know, and it's like I've said, like I've made so many great connections and people I am so thankful to call my friends here based on the fact that I'm being myself. And there's a really good moment when you can sit back and know that being unapologetically yourself created the structure of where you're at right now. And I'm going to continue to do that, and we're going to see what happens.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And so I will put some links down in the description so people
Hell yeah.
can follow you in your journey online.
Sweet.
Where is the preferred platform for you to have fans follow
Well,
along?
we're on Instagram. That's probably like the big one, but like I don't know. We're on every single streaming platform known to man. Like with DistroKid these days, it's
Hmm.
like we're on the big ones. We're on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, all that, but we're on like fucking Tidal, Deezer, YouTube,
Yeah.
all everywhere. But I don't know, like we're on TikTok too. Like I'm gonna be posting videos and stuff like that, like trying to get into the algorithm and stuff like that. But Instagram is probably where you can find me the most. Like I'm always on fucking Instagram. So
Perfect.
yeah, Instagram for sure. And it's just Norter, like underscore Norter underscore.
Yeah, one of the easiest band names to find. Where does that name come from?
That's a really good question. Everyone always wonders. So, in Summerside, growing up, I lived on Notre Dame Street, but it was spelt like the university, like
Hmm.
Notre. And I have a friend I've known since I was like 13, and like we've been pretty close throughout like all our lives, and he's seen the progression of my musical ability, and we were trying to figure out what I wanted to call it, and he said, you know, you should just call it Norter. Uh, and you know, I didn't really realize until about 3 or 4 months ago, but you know, calling it Norter is like for me, it was more than just a name. It's like it's everything that like my dad is a giant support for me. He was in the music industry working as an A&R manager, you know, for A&M Records, which is now Version.
That's 100% what I
And
wanted to do when I was your age.
man, I wanted to do it too. And then I just kind of got into the performing side, and it was just like, you know what, this is what I want to do. But like, he was such a big support, and like my brother Nicholas and my mom and stuff like that. Like, without them, like none of this would be possible. And yeah, like I do it for them to make
Amazing.
it sound, you know, to put it in bluntly. Like so
Yep.
yeah, Norder, but I just kind of spelt it how it sounds instead of like Notre Dame, it's
Yep.
Norder, Norter.
I like it. I like it. And that's I
I think it's
believe
unique.
anyone that's watching these two, the last episode, I had the similar thing where I asked about name origins and got
Yeah.
a really good answer. And I'm not going to repeat it because you should have watched the episode already. But
Absolutely.
for
Everyone go look at that.
exactly. So anyone that hasn't seen all of my episodes, there's plenty to pick from, including a past episode in order, which isn't that old. It's just
No,
it's less than a
September.
year, maybe more than 6 months, less than a year. But definitely a lot of content out there. But hit subscribe since you're sitting here on YouTube watching this channel right now. We have a lot more content to come. And Declan, I want to thank you again, and definitely keep in touch. If you
Yes.
take off to the States, we're not going to abandon you. I'm still calling you CanCon,
Hell
and
yeah.
you can call in from down there if you feel like.
Well, we'll be on the road soon, so we'll definitely have to link up in Halifax.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Before
I
you take
want
off.
all the Halifax listeners. I want to take over that city when we come through. I love Halifax so much. We played there. We did the Junos there back in March of 2024.
Was it 3 or 4? 4. It was 4.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
early. Yeah, it was
I had to
early in the
think
year.
too.
Holy shit. But yeah, no, we played at the Seahorse, and that was unreal. And yeah, I want that same energy. We had a show booked at Gus, but like I said, we had to postpone the tour. But
Mhm.
we're coming back. We're doing it, and it's gonna be hot. And
Excellent.
everywhere, like we're trying to. The tour is going to be like East Coast, but I definitely want to try and go to Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa at least on that tour. Just because like you got to do that, you got to
Yeah.
expand. And I got, I'm always getting messages from people in Montreal and Toronto being like, you got to come to fucking Toronto, and it's like, if y'all just want to get me down there, I'd love
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. I hear you.
But yeah, man, that's next, the tour. And until then, everyone, please keep streaming the record. It's been a hell of a ride, and the support so far, like we hit 1,000 streams on the first day. Like to me, like that's incredible.
Yeah, it is.
And yeah, I can't thank all of you guys enough. And but yeah, man, that's all for me.
Excellent. Well, we're definitely going to run into each other because I'm
Absolutely.
outside of being around the same regions that you're touring. I do have plans to finally tackle Newfoundland this year, so that will have completed the
Yeah,
cycle of East
well,
Coast DNA, bringing the show everywhere.
that's where the ECMAs are this year,
Yeah.
right?
So we'll
That'll
be
be
making a
interesting.
presence there this year. And
Oh
then
yeah.
following that, I do plan, despite the name being East Coast DNA, I have plans on expanding this a little further. We've had
You
some
got to.
Ontario, Montreal. So
Yeah.
I probably will be keeping an eye on who you're playing with. So
Mhm.
fair warning to any of those
Oh
open mics.
yeah, man. Oh yeah, there's so many great artists from Toronto that I'd love to put you in contact with. That's the thing. It's like I've built, like I know artists there, and
Yeah.
we talk all the time about playing and stuff like that. But we're 17 hours away or
Yeah.
something shit
Yeah.
like that. You know what I mean? It's like, and quickly, like that's another reason why I want to move to the States. It's like 17 hours from PEI to Toronto. That's crazy. But driving 17 hours in the United States, you're hitting like 6 states,
Yeah.
and
It's
you're going through like many cities,
yeah, it's a
major hubs.
different distribution of
But
population for
that's
sure.
why Canada's like, that's why it's like when you see an artist on tour, it's like, holy shit, they're legit, man. Like they're legit. They
Yeah,
are,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
especially in like the winter time. I see people from like Fredericton going to like BC and back. I'm like, holy shit, man! Like
Yeah.
you guys are fucked in like a little Yaris or something. It's crazy.
I'm definitely biased because over the years he's become close friend of mine as well. But as far as that too, immediately comes to mind Andre Petitpas. So a quick shout out to him. He's been
Yeah,
like hitting it hard
yeah.
with his solo
Oh
stuff.
man, yeah.
He did two West tours, like I think since the summer.
That's insane. That's
Like it,
insane. Well,
yeah,
they played right after us
yeah,
at Somo, and
yeah,
we were gonna play, like they did this Christmas show at in PEI. They asked
yeah,
us to be a special guest, but just didn't work out in the cards for us. But they yeah, Andre is he pounds the pavement, and like I
yeah,
said earlier, that's what you need to do.
yeah,
That's just straight
yeah,
up what you need to
exactly.
do. So yeah, man.
No,
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing. It's a
Thanks so much.
motivation to the rest of us out there too. And
Thank you very
like I
much.
said, keep in touch so we can
100%.
continue to let our audience know what you're up to.
Yeah, man.
And
100%.
for anyone that's still with us today, thank you for sticking around. And here's a nice little musical treat for you. So thank you, everyone. See you soon.
Sweet. Hi, guys. It's Norter, and you're listening to the single off my EP, The Yearbook Club. This song is called Grounded Now. Here we go.